This is Vanina Brown's fourth career powerlifting meet, second of which overseas. And this was my second meet coaching Vanina overseas. She lives in Japan, I live in the United States, 13-hour difference, so Sunday mornings, 7:30 is our weekly time to chat about training and nutrition. The last meet I coached her, I only had 4 weeks to prep. Luckily, after that meet, she had then decided to nix the programming her gym had offered and continue to work with me full time. I was excited because this gave me 20 weeks to build her strengths, improve her weaknesses, and peak her properly for her best performance on the platform. Squat. Because of her lack of training age with squats in comparison to the other lifts, she had a fear and doubt embedded in her head. I found that she responded well to high-frequency squatting on a high, medium, low basis, and really hammered the bottom position with pause squats at the beginning of her training block, 20 weeks out. She's a smart cookie. Although I mapped out every attempt for her and an additional optional scenario for her third attempt based off of the difficulty level of her second attempt, I did not, however, specify what to do if she got a bad lift. She wisely took the second attempt, and her third attempt put her at an increase of 7.5 kilograms from her last meet. Although in training she had hit a beautiful 90 kilogram squat, she played smart and made sure to hit 85 kilograms. Bench press. Training for the bench press was an interesting road to drive down. After coming back from a vacation, Vanina decided to get her shoulder checked out, and 10 weeks into her training, she indicated to me that she had a torn rotator cuff, and it would most likely eventually need surgery. I laid out the pros and cons of doing this powerlifting meet and told her I'd support her with whatever decision she decides to make. Luckily, it didn't affect her bench press, and with the correct treatment, it actually got better and the pain subsided. I first tweaked her bench press grip width and found that a slightly narrower grip than her wide grip accessory presses felt better, so we stuck with those. I also reduced the total overall pressing volume while drastically reducing her back volume. I've known Vanina since I started my coaching career back in 2014, and I know her trigger exercises, so I removed them and used similar exercises very sparingly, and although her chin-ups were greatly improving, I needed to replace it with something that provided a lower systemic fatigue. With her rotator cuff properly managed, I was able to focus on the best way to peak her. I had her purchase fractional plates, and this proved to be crucial in getting her to her current bench press strength. As she was peaking, a half-pound increase each week was the optimal rate of adaptation. She ended up pressing 50.25 kilograms in her training with a pause. But because IPF rules will only allow you to increase 2.5 kilograms, we were bound to having her third attempt be 50 kilograms. Deadlift. Vanina's favorite lift. Other participants in her weight class were great benchers and squatters, but she knew she had him beat on the deadlift. This gave her an edge. The deadlift was the first of the 3 powerlifts she was ever exposed to. It was love at first lockout. As she got stronger, she required more advanced approach and strategy, especially during her peaking phase. At the gym she frequently trained at, she was getting a lot of negative criticism, having to listen to things like, your core isn't strong if you use a belt. Therefore, if you use a belt, it's cheating and you're not strong. Each week we talked, I'd tell her, this is bullshit. Needless to say, she was stressed, tired from traveling, and it was displaying through her deadlift each week. She's strong though, and I reassured her that what we were doing is how it should be done. At one point, we were alternating heavy pulls between every other week of training because of the failed attempts. So, to go with the flow, I backed off the intensity 10% and spread out the deadlifting sessions while reducing her pulls to 1 heavy pull per week for the last 4 weeks. She ended up hitting 120 kilograms in training, and that made me feel real good about making her third attempt 122.5 kilograms. So that wraps up this in-depth look at Vanina Brown's 4th powerlifting meet in Mongolia. Oh yeah, and by the way, she got first place. Way to go, kiddo.